Famine from Famine Studios. You all know the drill. Um, yeah, so I found a set of these on the side of the road just yesterday. I recognized it by the windows. It was in a pile of stuff, and I drove by. I saw the colors, and I had seen some other things, and I was like, "Oh, let me slow down a bit." And I'm not kidding you. As soon as like I got level with it, I just saw the two rectangles of the windows, and I was like, "Oh shit! I bet that's a one of the LOL dolls." So let me stop and pick that up. And lo and behold, I picked it up, and it was a complete one. There were a couple of different things inside of it. I washed those by hand, and I primed this today. It is humid as a motherfucker outside. It's humid in here, but the primer's dry. It's just if I really spend a lot of time putting pressure on it, it's not even chipping. It's just like not even tacky. I can't describe the word for it. But anyway, this is going to be probably like the premier building of the tower. The storage container tower that I'm going to work on. But I intend to secure this in place today. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that with a little bit of Supergal. And I'm going to secure it in place. I'm going to put a doorway right here, because I'm like, not all these, I started to think, and I'm like, not all these are going to have to be open and fully play sets. Like, a couple of them, or at least one of them, can just be like someone's private living space. Like, you might be like me, you might have the screen door open, or like your main door and then the screen door, but my screen door's only got like half a piece of glass. So yeah, I'd love to check that out, Bjorn. So, like, you can see that my house is lived in, but you can't see into every single room. So I'm like, it doesn't necessarily need this to be open all the time. And the flip side is, if I want to later, I can just go back and make them into little spaces. But I thought, since it's again raining, it's again just the shits. I was able to paint this earlier in the day when it was nice and sunny, but I'm not kidding. As soon as like I got the spray paint can out and I started to work, the rain came along. So I finished, put it in the sunshine, what little sunshine was left for a bit, and then brought it inside to cure. And it's just a little humid, but I think we're gonna be able to do some cool stuff with this. And I'll probably start by just painting the top container, and we'll work on that tonight. We'll worry about the top one, and then I can work on the bottom one if I don't get to it tonight. So let's pop in the chat and see who all rolled in. Nebula, Red. All right. Smack the like button if you like this type of content, please. If you're new to the channel, I'm Famine. What up? We usually do this on Tuesdays. Tonight would normally be World Makers Consortium hours, but we had to push our guest till next week, so that's cool. I've got the time now. So, and this was a very short term. Like, hey, by the way. So if Rad pops in, and you can all thank him for letting me grace you with my presence. So I want to put some type of like a poster or something over that window, or maybe even like a grate, maybe some granny grating or something to look like, okay, somebody put a security screen or something there. But again, I don't need to put all the bullshit in there. And then this has a hole here, so we're gonna cover that up. Yes, Snowflake, hello. I know you're here. I know. Dad won't forget you. I know, baby. You're so beautiful. Snowflake is in the room because she doesn't want to be around the boy cat. And rooftop. I'm not sure what I want to put on the rooftop yet, but there's space for like tech, so I could put like a generator up here. I could put a little patio here, which I might do. I don't know. There's options, but let's get painting on this. I'm thinking of a color. I think I want it to be red. That is a pretty common shipping container color. It should have pretty good coverage. Should be pretty easy to paint. Now, you know me. Normally I do black as the base coat. I think this time I'm just gonna stick with the red, and I'm gonna paint on either side of all the ribs on this building, around the frames, because it's so textured and I don't want to get a lot of mess up. And then, well, Bjorn, I've got a ton of different things and different logos, stencils and stuff that I can do, where I can hand draw stuff. So there's plenty of options. Let me grab a couple of reds and show you guys what I'm talking about. Red. So, got Imperial Red here, and I've got Red Apple. And how am I going to do this and show you guys at the same time? So let's get a piece of cloth here. Oh, I've already got one out. It was hotter than hell today. Like humid, not hot. I shouldn't exaggerate. It was just quite humid for some time. To the point where like I was just sitting here and I was just sweating. Which is not what you want. But it seems like we're doing a little better with the heat. Also, one of the new T-Rexes from Jurassic. Look how fucking he's big! Oh, I love it! Oh, it's so good. It's so good. He's got the yell. Yeah. He's doing T-Rex stuff. So, to show you guys how I'm going to do this, I'm going to borrow her. Place this here. Perfect. You guys have enough of a view. Not the Spinosaurus. Thank you for reminding me that I don't have the fucking Spinosaurus that was scalped by everybody under the goddamn sun, and for some reason Target only got 2 per store for the launch of the Rebirth line. Makes it 0 goddamn sense. So yeah, Bjorn, I don't have it. Alright. Got a box here. We are gonna... Perfect. Okay. So, just clean that out of the brush. And then, like I said, I'm gonna go in on either side of these ribs, because yes, this thing's gonna get weathered. You guys know me, I do it big on the weathering. That's like my favorite. I love building stuff to paint it. But I also want the base to hide any possible crimes I have, and knowing me, spray painting something with this many ridges and recesses, it allows for me to miss certain things. So there we go. So I'm just doing the diligence now and going in and getting paint in all those nooks and crannies that I would normally miss, and then when I do my weathering and stuff, I can chip away and you know, all those things. But in places that are overhung, like me, ladies, fellas, in places that are overhung where maybe erosion wouldn't hit it so much, you want to make sure that the paint remains there. And like the top lip of a shipping container, moisture usually starts up below that line and then works its way down. So I don't want to have like all my paint missing off of that because I, you know, slapped it on here. I was going to spray paint it, but again, it's so humid, it's not going to hurt me any to do it this way. If anything, and it will always add variety to these as I go. I actually took one of these whole sets apart and am working on a duplicate one-piece the bottom is one piece, like it's actually, there's no interruptions or anything. So I'm duplicating the bottom to make a new top for another one, so I have like a couple of standalone shipping containers. And those are in the one of these boxes here, or it's in the other room in the office. But you get what I'm doing. So these things, there's opportunity there with these. And now I have 3 sets of them, and I only paid for one of them, right? Yeah, I paid for the one at that weird, it's like a flea market or thrift store in Johnstown. I was on my way back from something out there. I think I was actually out hitting up Toying Around, and this is not like his forte. He does not get LOL dolls or anything like that. And so I stopped there, poked my head in, and sure enough, they had one for $20. And then I came back the following day when I went out there to Toying Around for something, and it was like their 15% off today. So I got it for under $20. But otherwise, I got these 2 for free, or 2 sets of these for free. Bjorn believes that I pummeled some children to obtain these, and I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I could pummel a child. I could absolutely. No child in a fight, like under the age of 10, absolutely not. I rock every single 10-year-old. I don't care how long your kid's been learning jujitsu or whatever. Like, I don't go, oh, he's a farm boy, he's strong. I could absolutely rock the socks off of a 10-year-old in a fight. Just so, you know, if your kid's got one of these and the only way that I can get it is a fist fight, well, you might as well let them know to just give it to me, because ache will be spared. And thank you, friends, for hitting the like button. Also, I mean, if it's not too much to ask, I know I ask a lot of you guys. If you hit that share button, you just copy the link. That tells the old YouTube god, Steve Algorithm, and it tells him, hey, fucking, these people seem to like this Famine Guy stuff because they want to share it. So let's put it up on the main page for some people and drive some more traffic there, because that means we get more ad revenue and all that yada yada yada. It just helps out the channel. But if anybody's going to Toy Pizza Con tomorrow / 5 Points Fest, let me know in the chat. So there's a chance we'll be going. I'm not sure, or at least I'll there's a chance I'll be there. Thank you, Nebula. But there's a pretty good chance that I'll be coming through there. I know it's kind of last minute. I honestly have been so busy. I have not been keeping track of events, and we were kind of looking for something to do. What with the rain every Saturday, it actually looks like it might hold off tomorrow. I don't want to jinx it, but yard sale day in town, and people have been chomping at the bit to like do yard sales and flea markets. I see areas around here that tried to do their yard sale day already are like posting like, oh, you know, stop by ours because we're going to be putting our stuff out again. So it looks like it may be a busy day for that, so that'd be nice. Or even if I just do that in the morning, I don't know. But yeah, not looking to spend a fortune, but it would be nice to get some good deals on some inexpensive stuff. Maybe pick up some ships, some play sets that people are, you know, getting rid of. Kid moved off to college and mom and dad want to get rid of their Clone Wars stuff. Well, far be it from old Famine here to not take that opportunity to load up on things. I still do kick myself because my buddy's kid, who's in the Army now, like that, it weirds me out. It's so hard to say that. But one yard sale day ages ago, I found that 6-legged tank, the Walker tank, for $10, and got it for him because he was a big Clone Wars fan at a yard sale day. Like what an odd experience. Okay. In a minute, I am gonna blast this with heat. We're old. You watch your mouth. Target exclusive. Yes, Bjorn, the Spino is Target exclusive. And it's the JP3 Spino in the Hammond collection. I know that they do have a couple of Jurassic World Rebirth Spinosauruses, and those are cool and all, and I will be picking those up eventually, but I'm really looking for that Hammond collection Spino. It's blowing my mind that they're like, okay, it's 2 per person or pre-order online. Great. Then it was 2 in the store and that was it. Like, it doesn't, unless you're trying to create an artificial scarcity and inflate a secondary market, which makes the store no monies, just doesn't make any sense to me. But I just work here. I'm just a guy that paints things and talks to toys. And I talk to my friends, too, obviously. Well, Snowflake is technically the youngest person here, Bjorn. You can kind of see her. There she is. Right there. Let's see. About to be 31. Big 3-1. Big Bjorn making big birthday moves. I remember my 31st birthday as though it were yesterday. I was a boy then, still unsure of the world. I learned as I grew, and grew as I learned. It was a wonderful experience, darling. I don't know if you can hear the fan, but that's it's like the only thing that's keeping this room even remotely cool enough for me to paint in. Don't necessarily want to put the air conditioner in or on yet, because it is only the first freaking weekend in June. I look good all the time. Listen to Bjorn. What up, Task Force? Oh, my Snowflake is sound asleep over there. I guess she made peace with the fact that I'm not letting her on the shelves in Gimmick anymore, so she just hangs out on the floor and picks a spot. I put down a blanket for her and everything. She's like, nah, I just want to sleep on this carpet, Faja. I am going to be doing a marathon stream. I'm in the process of planning it. I will advertise it well in advance, and I would like to do it as a fundraiser to raise money for a local cat care group, and split it with something for senior pets. You guys know, recently I lost Peanut, and he was a senior, and oftentimes you see older cats at shelters and things like that don't get adopted, and I would like to help donate to them to improve their the quality of life for the cats that they have there. And then there's another group around here that's been very helpful in helping keep the stray population neutered and spayed and safe and homed when they can, and that's Orange Street Cats. They also, when it's kitten season, when the strays have their kittens and stuff, they make sure that they get the babies care. They get them to homes of people that want to help take care of them, even if it's a foster, and I'd like to support them. So I figured doing a marathon live stream, I'll create like a menu of like different challenges or goofs or whatever, or like, whatever. You guys throw some ideas, and somebody if we hit a goal, or if somebody makes a donation of a specific amount to the drive, then we can, Famine is going to wear a set of baby Yoda ears for the next hour on the stream, or, bullshit like that, fun things. We'll do some stuff like that, and hopefully raise some money for a couple of worthy causes, and have some fun in the process. But that's an idea that I've kind of been workshopping around in my head and trying to put together the way I want to do it, how I want to do it. And I'm going to do my best to match donations up to a certain amount, so that we can ensure that there's a good amount of coin going to these folks, because they do a very I don't want to say thankless, because that's not the right word, but it's a job that has a lot of moral reward to it that not a lot of people get to see. Not a lot of people know that there are people out there taking place and doing these things, and being able to contribute and help those animals, help the people, help them, I think would be really cool. And we can, show that a toy community can be a little bit more than toys. Guests on the stream, I will work on the idea of doing that. What up, Task Force? There we go. Boom. There will be some type of thing going on. I don't know about guests. Again, I haven't found a streaming platform that is satisfying my needs that StreamYard had, and it seems like everybody's just going back to StreamYard, and I'm not. I don't like to just quit like that, like, well, it's StreamYard or nothing. So I'm continuing to peruse and talk to other streamers and see the things that they use, which is why right now I'm just using this, and I don't have all the bullshit running across my screen. I don't have ants popping in and throwing comments on the screen for me, because StreamYard upped their price, there was no additional value to what they offered when they upped the price. So it makes streaming with additional people hard on here, and I can't for the life of me understand why YouTube, who's mentioned before that they want to compete with streaming platforms such as Twitch, why they don't make a interface for their streamers that's useful so that people will come on here and stream and generate revenue for YouTube. That's the whole point of YouTube, is they want to make their advertising money off of our content, and we get some of the scratch back from that. So if you make it a little easier and you allow streamers to use your tools so they're not paying money to somebody else, it's all in-house, you have control over it, you can fix errors, you don't have to, worry about the streamer being like, this product, there's just a million ways that they could be improving this experience for everybody, and they haven't. I don't know why. Doesn't really make any sense to me. But that's mega corporations for you. I'm sure somewhere the bottom line isn't worth it for them, or just nobody in the office has been like, hey, why don't we produce our own streaming platform that, provides a opportunity for our streamers to use YouTube as their home instead of Twitch, so we get the money instead of Twitch. I feel like that makes too much sense. Maybe that's the problem. Do. I'm not going to paint the inside of this because, again, I think I'm going to put something there. But I am going to get all the areas around it. Maybe I will paint it. Just that way, if anything I put in there is smaller, it looks like it was intentional, I can weather around it. We'll see. It's interesting as I get older, as a artist and a content creator, or whatever you want to call me, I do recognize in myself some things that I know I'm going to do. And that's right there. I was like, I'll just skip it and blah, 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 blah. But I know that my desire to have the surface be somewhat uniform for this part of the task, I'm like, I will probably go back and paint that. So instead of lying to myself, not doing it, and then coming back in later and doing it, I'll just do it now. It doesn't hurt anything. It only costs me a couple more seconds of brush strokes. I'm already streaming. I'm already talking to you guys. So I'm going to do that. I'm a mushroom. Elaborate. Because I don't understand. I promise I'm not on mushrooms. Not right now, anyway. I haven't eaten anything with mushroom on it today. Do I have mushroom on my shirt? Fat guy? What? Fun guy. Oh, I'm a fun guy. Mushroom walks into a bar. Bartender says, hey, get out of here. You're not welcome. Mushroom says, why not? I'm a fun guy. That's how you deliver that joke. I tell you, this summer, this is how my ADHD brain just went. You told the mushroom joke. I told the delivery of the mushroom joke. I then thought of my favorite joke from a movie. That movie has a sequel coming out. That made me think of how excited I am for the fact that there are a lot of movies that I actually would like to see this year and this summer. And that's how we landed here. That's how my brain dodged around that and danced. Favorite joke. Guy walks into a bar with a giraffe. And he proceeds to get hammered. Throws his money on the counter and goes to leave. Starts to walk out. The bartender goes, oi, can't leave that lion there. The guy looks over and goes, it's not a lion, it's a giraffe. I think that joke is fucking hysterical. It's so stupid and so simple, but it's a good joke. That joke was in 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later has a new sequel coming out, and I like what Danny Boyle does with horror, and I'm very excited to see that. Another one of these cool things about this is because it's got a flat top to it, you can put a landing pad on there, make it temporary or full, put it over here, or you could park a ship or like a speeder or something on top. Just put a little utility ladder up to it. Yeah, these things are pretty great. Now I see why everybody was buying them all and building a small collection of them. And I know that Bjorn is quietly longing for these now. He says he doesn't want them, but I know better. If I was gonna spray paint this, keep them in the dark and feed them poorly. If I was going to spray paint this, I would be using Montana Gold acrylic spray paint on top of this primer. This is a self-etching primer, I believe I used. But the Montana Gold, I find, is a nice, really nice acrylic spray paint for this type of stuff. It's actually primarily used for graffiti art, but I know cosplayers who use Montana Gold and Montana Black to paint their Mando armor, to paint their Star Wars speeders and things like that, and I've used it a lot on world building projects like this. One of the videos on my channel is a two-part series where we build a Galaxy's Edge Coca-Cola cart, and I used Montana Gold to spray that, and it came out really nicely. But this is better. It's got me more involved, and I don't have to wait to hit all the different angles and then wait for the paint to dry. And I mean, obviously I'm still waiting for this paint to dry, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's a little bit of a different process, and it gets to be more hands-on. I can take a little bit of time and connect with the artwork, and which sounds a little more pretentious than I wanted it to be, but also, like, yeah, I like to connect with my stuff. I like to get down in there, when I'm going to be looking at this being the first one, I'm going to be really happy about, like, how I did the thing, like what I've accomplished, and be like, yeah, man, I fucking hand painted all that. I got in there with like swimwear, created all those scratches and chips, and made sure that the paint was in the recesses before we did washes and things like that, and came out really good. Or like that right there was when I laughed so hard at Red's mushroom joke that I fucked up the paint job. Look at that, I like to see that. More likes than there are people in the chat. I mean, I would love to have more people in the chat, that's always fun. But seeing that many likes on my video, exciting. So thank you guys. Oh man, if I could get myself a like a 118 El Camino or something very similar in shape. My father used to have an El Camino. Fun fact about me, my dad got locked up when I was a kid and went away to the forever prison for 25 years. But when he was locked up, he left his vehicles with my mother, and they stayed here. We were living with my grandparents at the time, which is now my home, and he left the El Camino here, and it had different color quarter panels and different color doors because he was putting it together and fixing it on his own, and like basically one piece at a time when he couldn't pay checks. And I think it'd be funny to have like the the space equivalent of a trailer park home with a El Camino hovercraft parked on it, like parked with it. Like that's the people that reside here in this particular unit, that is their mode of transportation. And it would be an ode to that car, because that was the first car I ever remember like paying any attention to, if that makes sense. And I think it was just because my mother used to have to go out and start it from time to time while she was waiting on the court stuff and then eventually selling the car. She would go out there and start it, and then she would smoke her cigarettes while the car was running. So I would go outside and wander around the car and probably stand far too long in front of the exhaust pipe listening to it. That explains why I'm a little screwed up in the head. Just standing there listening to the exhaust fumes tell me stories. Ooh, there's a chunk of paint there. Gross. And the other option was I could have pulled my airbrush out, but I just think it's too humid to also add spraying, even though it would be acrylic and it would be very fine and it would go on there in multiple thin coats and it would dry. I don't think adding any more moisture to the air today is going to help me in any of my pursuits. So that's why that didn't happen. But the thought did cross my mind. So anybody who's watching this and they're like, wow, that famine guy should have just gotten an airbrush out. What's an El Camino? It's a type of car. It's like half car, half truck. Very ugly. They were popular in the late 70s and early 80s. It's like the mullet of cars. Business in the front, party in the back. But no, absolutely, I think a parking structure right on the top of this, like a landing pad, will be a good idea. And then some type of electronics array there. Maybe I could cut a solar panel or something, I'm not sure. But I want these to be largely like, obviously each time they add one to the building, it gets placed on there, and people wire in and connect to the local energy grid and all that stuff. But like, say maybe they run an operation where they slice, and so they need extra utilities, or they don't want to be connected to the grid or whatever. Like, there's a litany of reasons why people would live in a lower income housing like this, and it's a little cyberpunk, and it's a little bit Star Warsy, leaning more on the Star Wars end of things, but it's just got that certain je ne sais quoi of being a cyberpunk / like favela type look, and that's okay, because that's kind of what I'm going for anyway. I'm sure a lot of you guys have looked into the walled city of Kowloon when you're looking into world building, and like how we put buildings on top of each other and stores on top of little houses and stuff in our worlds. But that's always fascinated me, the Kowloon Wall City. It was a city, it was a building that was an entire, like, it was like 6 block like makeup of all just interconnected apartments and buildings, and there were little restaurants inside and little stores, and there was its own governance, like they had its own governing committee. There were jobs inside of the place. It was, and this was in, I believe in Hong Kong, but it was called Kowloon, and they would just kind of like scab things onto the outside that they needed. And you know, if you ever saw Judge Dredd, the newest one with Carl Urban, that building that Mama lives in that they go to was inspired by the Kowloon walled city. This way. Nope. There we go. It's going to be a little bit of overpaint on this, I think. And that's okay. Because that bottom one's going to get a completely different color, and it'll be covered up, then we won't have to worry about it. Try and be as neat as I can, but it's mine, so I don't have to worry too much about it, because I can fix it. Meh. And there's going to be weathering and all that shit. That's the other thing, too, is I want to add some pipes, like, coming out of the wall, so it looks like maybe there's, like, a waste, some type of rudimentary, like, here's how our waste goes, the vac tubes, you know, or whatever they call, what do they call it in Mandalorian? The bathroom, the refresher, you know, like, oh, here's where the refresher sends the waste to the little incinerator that runs through the complex to generate fuel, or I don't know. That dude Zilla's really into poop. Maybe he confiscates the poop from the residents here and turns it into not gamma fuel, but like grandma fuel. Maybe he uses it to fuel the seniors over in Amrak Spot. First time a toilet was seen in stores. Yeah. It's been so long and I've only seen it one time. Was there a bathroom at all in the Christmas special? The holiday special? Because I know some people don't count that as anything, and others are like, no, it's canon. It's fucking part of it. And I'm just curious if there was a bathroom in that at all. But I do want to have, as I said, I've got pipes, straws, drinking straws that are crazy straw kits that people used to buy for like $112. And I mean, they work fine for $118. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't use them. But I've got those, and I can utilize those and make it look like plumbing and stuff. Because like take a walk or just a look around the next time you're in a major city, or like driving through a trailer park if you know anybody that lives in one, or even like a mobile campground or something like that. Look around at all the cords and like attachments and things like that are on the outside, satellite dishes and stuff around on the sides of these buildings. So it's like it's not unusual to have those things, and those things just add another layer of depth, world building, and realism. Like if I put a broadcast antenna on all the buildings, suddenly now we know that these people maybe they get their news or their entertainment, or that's how they connect to the internet. Like you see that, and it builds like a layer of detail into the world. that you maybe wouldn't have thought of. You see wires, draped around the outside and holding, connecting to little boxes and stuff. Now you're like, okay, so they have some type of technology in there. It's not just them living in a tin can. These little things, to me, make world building exciting and make it interesting and make it worth the extra effort that I like to put in. But you guys see me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm over here like making sure that I paint in all the cracks and shit. Paint around the window frames on the inside before I paint them another color, because I'm thinking I'm going to paint them white or silver, kind of like a really chromy silver, but with some rust. So it's like almost like, oh, this, at one point maybe this trailer was used as a the shipping container was used as a little diner or something, or maybe it's white, maybe it's it was used as part of advertising, or like a construction site office, or even just somebody built it that way and painted it like that because they liked it that way. Just all the weird shit that adds lore to things visually, and you don't even have to like explain it. Like, I like adding the details that people see, and they can kind of make the conclusions, and no matter which way you make your conclusion, you're kind of right. So if you see an antenna, all right, well, somebody's broadcasting, or they're receiving broadcasts. Perfect. That's exactly why an antenna is there. That's a great observation. Oh, they parked their car and there's a ladder to the window. Maybe they use the ladder out the window so that they don't have to deal with anybody if they come to their front door, or maybe they need to make a quick exit. Things like that. That's the type of stuff that I love doing. They put a no soliciting sign on the door, where I could add like a bunch of, pink and yellow flyers taped to their door, or, tacked up however they would do it in Star Wars, stickies, stickers, and it's like, oh, this person's clearly late on their rent, and they're just going back in and out of there and not paying their utility bill or their rental bill or whatever. Like, I could do all kinds of things like that, and it just adds a little detail, adds interest. Sandy Shores, bid on Calhoun City. Yes, Dammy Lee. I watched. That's the lady, right? And yes, it is raining here. Because I've seen a few of the different videos and stuff that are on YouTube. And years ago, National Geographic did one that my grandfather and I watched. Maybe it was Nat Geo or maybe it was Discovery, one of the two. But my grandfather and I had watched it, and I just remember thinking, like, hey, I couldn't imagine living in those types of conditions. And I've seen cities in China where you think you're on the ground floor, and you're not. You're still like 70 stories high, or you're 180 feet still off the main ground. But they built buildings in such a way with all this connectivity and tunnels and things like that, subway, transports in between. It's wild. And now here I am, like, building this in my home. And trying to, like, rationalize, like, okay, these people live here, and what would a person need? Because take a look at Star Wars. Like, look in the Skywalker. No matter where the Skywalkers lived in their home, like, they don't have a lot of shit. They don't have a lot of furniture and all that. They have, they're a regular working class family, I guess would be the way to describe them. And also, Aunt Beru, she was with the shits when she pulled out that heater when Reva rolled through, so. But, like, you never, you don't see, like, oh, there's their book collection, and there's Luke's toy box, and, there's his race car bed or skyhopper bed and all this stuff. Like, you don't see that shit. And so it's like, okay, I need to mentally think, if I were to open this room up or show this off, well, yeah, they wouldn't have very much. So living in a shipping container wouldn't be a stretch. They could have a bed, they could have a kitchen, they could have a refresher, and that's their little space. Or maybe an alien lives in there. Their way of processing waste is through burps, so all they need is a fan. Like the lower levels of Coruscant. Sealed in their cubicle and dropped in the ocean. Jesus Christ. That's dark. I love it. Season. Sorry, thank you. Sorry, Snowflake. Didn't mean to scare you. But yeah, Kowloon it was a fascinating place. Also happens to be the name of my favorite tiki tropical restaurant in Boston. So if they get sealed in their cubes and dropped in the ocean, is there somebody who like makes profit off of collecting those people and either returning the cubes for repurposing, or like can they scrap it after they pull the dead bodies out, or maybe they do a rescue and auction off the person for slavery? Like what's the situation there? And I'm not saying that's what I would do. I'm just saying that sounds exactly like a capitalistic dystopia thing of like, oh, they lock you in your thing and throw you in the ocean. So, oh yeah, I'll help get him out of the water. What about the container that he's in? You guys want that back, right? Yeah, no, I'll clean it up for the pollution, but you guys give me, a good cut of money and you get your container back, and hell, we'll even wash it out with a little bit of water and soap for you. And suddenly you've got rent pirates. Sorry, this is what happens when my brain starts to run on an idea. I do it too. It's terrible, I'm sorry. What doing now? What you doing, miss? You being a good girl? I love you. She's like, I'm just sitting here staring at you, painting the thing. Nice. Lately, when I think of like people scavenging in trash heaps and stuff, as I think of Blade Runner 2049, the children at the scrapyard there that essentially do that. They live in poverty. They're all orphans, and they basically scrap to save their lives and like pull speeders out of the sky or spinners out of the sky and try and rip the parts off of them like a bunch of goddamn Jawas. Now I'm just getting, on my side, I'm getting into these little grooves here down at the bottom where I'm painting. And I thought, having lived in tenements, like I actually lived in a Section 8 tenement for two different ones for a good amount of time. And one thing I always made note of, or rather I realized I had made note of in my older years, is how, despite living impoverished and poor and like living paycheck to paycheck and shit, a lot of people took a lot of good care of their stuff, because you know what I mean? Like if you're poor, you want your stuff to look good because you don't want to be reminded that you're poor. Um, and so in this area here, I'm thinking like a trap door that can lead to this building down here, but also like a little rug or a welcome mat and a doorway there, that somebody put up, that's kind of like their effort to make it look good, even if there's going to be graffiti and stuff in that hallway, things like that. Like people do tend to try and make their shit look good, myself included, when you're lower income, and that's something that I want to convey with this little build here. All right. I'm gonna get ready to blast this with a heat gun in a minute, but I just want to get a couple of the obvious spots that I missed. Even though some of these are going to get painted over and there's going to be chipped paint and all that other stuff, because you've seen a shipping container, probably. I can almost guarantee we've all seen a shipping container IRL, whether it's on the back of a truck, in a shipyard, at somebody's camp. I know they're popular now among people, like turning them into tiny homes, which is fucking dope. If I had more property, I would certainly build one and use it as a studio, or as like a, guest home or something for when people come visit. Yes, ma'am. What are you doing? What's up? I'm getting yelled at. What are you doing, ma'am? Yo, go girl. Love you. What I would certainly, that is my absolute flavor of recycling. Like, I love the idea of doing that, but I don't have enough property to even consider thinking about that. But yeah, so you've seen shipping containers, and they're genuinely and generally, it's not genuinely is the word, generally, in, pretty weathered shape. Because they get picked up by cranes at the docks, they get strapped down on ships, they get tossed about while they're on the ships, banging into each other on the ocean. Then they get unloaded, then they get loaded onto trucks, strapped down, bolted down, all those things. Like, a lot of damage happens to things, and that's where a lot of the weathering comes from on stuff like these. Those Jurassic Park and T-Rex cages can link together. What? Elaborate, please. For I am either far too stupid or far too... The $4 Walmart ones. Brother. Again. What? Are you talking about those ones that popped up on clearance? That Aunt sent me one of? Because otherwise I'm fucking lost. Like, I feel like we're having two different conversations, or you're on a conversation that I cannot remember that I was in, which is a possibility. That is very, very much a possibility with me. I am baked, so yes. The clearance ones. Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. I have one of those. I didn't know that they linked together, but they weren't available at all at my store when I was there to pick up the exclusive T-Rex. This guy right here, who's peeking in the window, like, what up? And the only things that they had on clearance that were Jurassic were the eggs that you can get and open them up. They're like kind of like Kinder Surprise eggs, but they're usually like filled with fucking slime or something. You gotta dig through it to get the toy out. And it's supposed to be like a fully grown dinosaur inside that slime, and then I gotta clean it off. And then what? I've got a fully grown T-Rex that's only like yay big. Get out of here. Because if they had a couple more of those caged things on clearance, I would have picked them up. I didn't know they could connect. That's cool. I've saved quite a bit of Jurassic stuff for my eventual park building. That T-Rex one that Aunt sent over being one of them. Because it doesn't necessarily have to hold a T-Rex. It can hold a Compy, it could hold a Gallimimus, it could hold a baby Triceratops. There's a bunch of things that it could hold. Beep, beep, beep. I keep hoping, against all hopes, that at some point they're going to release a Gates kit. Prison cell. Yep, I've got top, not top and bottom. What? Connected to a T-shape, not side by side. Okay. What's up, Defiant? How we living, man? But I've got like a few Jungle Explorers set aside. I've got plenty of Jeeps. Some of the concept vehicles that they released. A couple of motorcycles for the JP Motor Pool. Like I've been saving things, different cages. A lot of different dinosaurs, like when they go on clearance, especially herbivores, so I can build up like herds. And, you know, paint them different ways and all that stuff. So, but that's world building for another franchise, another area, another project down the line. So I'm not too focused on that right now. Despite my literally, like, I'm pretty close to vibrating. I'm so excited that I get to see another Jurassic in theaters this year. Hoping it's good. Looks entertaining to me. I see that they borrowed a lot of themes from the books. I am such a huge fan of Michael Crichton's writing, so I'm glad that they brought David Koepp back to help with the script, because he wrote the original script for Jurassic Park, and yeah, that's where I'm at. And honestly, like, I'll see most things with Scarlett Johansson or Masala Ali. Like, I'll go see them. Them's fighting words, buddy boy. What are we fighting about? Who's fighting? In the words of whoever did the entrance to that Shakira song, no fighting. Changed her hair to resemble Scarlett's hair in Avengers because I said I liked her. Bjorn, I got news for you, buddy. I think that girl might have liked you. That young lady could have been a girlfriend or partner or whatever. Didn't want to date that girl though. Oh, that's fair. I had a person who was interested in dating me, that I wasn't super interested in dating at the time, who she discovered that I liked Batman, and so she started wearing like Batman T-shirts, and she went out and bought Mr. Freeze sneakers and all these really cool things. But it's like whenever I tried to talk about it, she had no idea what I was talking about. She would just say like, she was like, "Oh, I got this because you like Batman," and it's like, "Yeah, that's really cool." Blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. And she's like, "Oh, I don't understand any of it." And it's like, I didn't like that. Because it made it tough. Because it's like, okay, you made the effort to, get interested into something I'm interested in. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. That's really cool. Now I'd love to talk to you about that thing, because now you've got me excited that you're interested in, but you don't want to chat about it, and you don't seem interested in learning about it, so it's like conflicting. But yeah, she did. She went out and bought like Mr. Freeze sneakers that were Skechers or something like that. There was a special Batman tie-in for sneakers at the time, and a couple other things like Batman ball cap and all this other stuff. And she was like, "Oh, look, I got this," and da 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 da, and you like that thing. And it was like, yeah, that's super cool. I appreciate that. That's really great. Like, but if I were to do that for my partner, like, I try and at least understand the bare basic bones of that in order to enjoy it with them. Like, I grew up being tangentially aware of Dr. Pepperboy starting a war with words. It's on, buddy. Like, I grew up with tangentially. That's not the right word. I grew up around people that watched X-Files and had seen episodes of X-Files. I was not the biggest X-Files fan. But, my girlfriend, Kenny, is a big X-Files fan, and so I have sat and watched X-Files with her. I've learned about stuff. I've, made an effort to be aware of the thing that she enjoys, even though it wasn't my first, like, choice of television loves and stuff, for my own reasons. But I think it's cool, and when I come across something that I think is neat, and I show her, and if she's seen it, she's seen it. If not, hey, we've got something to talk about, and we can connect over it. And that's how I approach. Where'd bitch cat go? Where are you, you white bitch? Here you are. Hi. But like, that's how I connect with that, and that's what I would have done had I been, super interested in that girl in the first place. And if I were in her shoes the other way around, I wanted to relate to somebody and started getting those things and stuff like that. Like, hey, I would at least try and learn a little bit about it, or listen when the person talked about it. And it's just, it was a situation, and it didn't work out. And I mean, I'm glad that it didn't work out, because all those things have led me to where I am now, and very happy. But yeah, when somebody goes out of their way to make something or do something or whatever based on something that you had recommended or said you liked, that's always a big gesture. And despite you not wanting to date her, that's pretty cool that somebody went ahead and did that. Yeah, listening to people talk about their passions is like, you guys know me. I don't shut the fuck up. I will talk about stuff I like forever, and I get excited, and this is one of those ADHD things that I'm learning about now as I get older in life, that people will get excited about their passions and talk about them, and it's like, it's almost like an info dump. And it's kind of a common, prevalent thing in people that are like on a spectrum, or just really like super passionate about one particular thing. And so that's one of those things that happens, and I think it's really cool, and I love yakking about stuff I like, which is probably one of the reasons why I enjoy doing these streams, because essentially it gives me a captive audience to ramble about the bullshit that I enjoy, and no one can tell me not to. I mean, you can, but I'm not going to listen. All right. I'm going to blast this with the heat gun for a second. So I guess I'll cover your ears. I'll mute you for a second. Let me get this set where I can. There she is. Snowflake, this is going to be loud. Oh no, I got red paint on my titty. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to mute it. Boop. All right, we are back. Snowflake is, well, she's trying to get into the other LLL dog container. You can't fit in there, ma'am. There's not enough space for a snowflake in there. I'm sorry. You can try, but you're not going to get in there. So, you can kind of see it's really lightened up. This is one of those things that I talk about with the plaid folk art and apple barrel paints. So they're not super pigmented, but in this case, it works. We're going to continue. I'm going to put another coating on here, but I'm wondering, I'm going to use a sponge brush. I want to try something. I'm going to try dabbing the paint on, but I'm going to mix two reds together and essentially see if we can't make some natural color deviation on here. I don't know. What do you think? We'll fucking try it live. Because I'm enjoying this. I'm actually immensely satisfied so far with what I see. So I've got two different types of red. I've just done my coating of Imperial Red, which is the darker of the two, and Red Apple. They're both matte paints. This one is Folk Art. This one is Apple Barrel. Same company, same line. The paints are decent. Like I said, it's just not heavily pigmented. Like if this were a bottle of model paint, like army painters that I use on different things, it would be heavier pigmented, and a little bit of paint would go a long way. Whereas this is more, you get a lot of paint, but it's more for craft purposes. That's the best way I could describe it. So I'm loading up this brush with both types of red here on my little cardboard box palette. You can see the natural, I don't want to see the brush strokes in the way that they're on there now, which is why, like I said, think I'm going to try and just come in with the with this foam brush, and I can go over and add, I can almost stipple it on, and suddenly it's got a little bit of texture, it's got deviation in the color, which is what I'm kind of looking for here. And sure, there will be spots on here too where it's like, oh, that's been repainted completely. You can clearly see that somebody repainted that there, like spots where there's graffiti and things like that. Don't fret about that. But I don't necessarily want to see the brush strokes. My God, get your mind out of the God blessed gutter famine. The brush strokes. What up, Addie? We're painting LOL doll containers today. It's getting wild here. Got 2 of those containers and thought about painting them. Awesome inspiration. Well, thank you. I can't be the first person listen, man, I feel Audie's pain. Before before the house became mine, before I had access to the other rooms to like utilize safely, I had a lot of shit stacked up and different things to like hold up figures for photos and things like that. So I feel Audie's pain. I saw that and I laughed because I've done that before, except it was usually with the totes or empty cardboard boxes, empty styrofoam boxes. So I absolutely, where's that? I see gray.
I see trees of green, red roses too. The shipping container was originally blue. And I think to myself, I should have used more primer.
Sorry. I don't know where that came from. I apologize. That was upsetting to me even. Surprised that y'all didn't run away. So thanks for staying. Sorry you had to hear that. Louis Armstrong's here, right? Man, now if y'all are perpetually on the internet like I am, I assume you've seen that it was like Japan's Got Talent or something, and this dude did blackface to sing Louis Armstrong, and it's like, one fucking, come on, hey, you son of a bitch, you big white fluffy bitch. She got up there, she's in, you're an asshole. I love you, but you're terrible. She just likes to sit up there and then judge me. But this dude did blackface to sing Louis Armstrong, and he had a tremendous voice. And it's like, you didn't need to do all that. You absolutely didn't need to do all that in order to impress everybody. Like, don't do that. Yeah, that's Snowflake. She's a naughty cat. I love her. She's delinquent. I'm talking about you, Mau Mau. You're a delinquent. There's a gimmicks. Well, you guys have seen the video of the kaiju attack that happened on Gimmick. That footage is still there that I obtained from Monarch. Very, very hard to get a hold of, that footage. So be sure to check that video out. But the lesson being from me rambling on about that idiot doing blackface is like, if you have a talent like that, if you're so talented, it doesn't matter if it's a cultural difference. It's 2024, 2025 when this happened, that they should know better. It's kind of like we know not to do the stereotype, if you're talking about someone who's Chinese, Japanese, or whatever, by taping our eyes and sticking our teeth out. Or putting on the black frame glasses and doing that. Like, we know socially across the world that's not okay. So I'm not sure why that performer or that television show or whatever it was thought it was okay. Clearly, clearly there's some disconnect there in the culture, or just they don't care on that program. Like, maybe they just don't give a shit and they're like, it's a little racist, but why not? But just not for me. Like, if you're that talented, man, you don't need to fuck around and do stupid stuff like that. You could surely grow on your own on the merit of your voice, because that was a fantastic Louis Armstrong impression. But it's to me, it's one of those things. It's like the rest of the world is aware that you don't do that. One loud noise. What'd you get up on that shelf for? Fucking, she's a maniac. Look at her. Come on. Hey. What are you doing up there? Why are you up there? If you're gonna chill out, you chill out, okay? I love you. You're the worst. I love you, though. I know one day I'll look back on the live stream and see her doing that and be like, "Oh, Snowflake." Yeah, she's a good girl, Josh, but she's misbehaved. You missed me talking shit earlier. Specifically about you and Amrak and milking things. So, you'll have to watch the replay. See, guys, remember when I talked about a captive audience? That's how you build one. Literally talk shit. Yeah, that's precisely what I was doing. Dino shit, human shit, alien shit. I just set that area up like 5 minutes. See, he was playing around in poop. It was like the universe knew and was like, famine, now's the time you have to proselytize about Amrak Spot and their weird poop fetish that they have there on that planet. Cool. Bjorn's posting a link. I don't know what it is. This one to be specific. What are we... Oh, the kaiju attack. No, I can fetish. I can kink shame a scat fetish. Especially dinosaur scat fetish, man. It's weird. Weird. I'm actually trying to make them go even harder on that ban so that you can't even bring your own recycling bags into the stores. You have to carry everything out by hand. And I want them to make paper straws that are made of even thinner paper. Just to really, really, I want to take the pressure off the billionaires that are destroying the planet, and like make it our responsibility in theory. Like pretend like we have anything to do with it, like we're the ones that are dumping chemicals in the ocean and shit. Yeah, it makes me feel like we're doing something. And then they'll have better yachts. Oh, dude, I don't actually want paper straws. There's actually actually they're making straws now out of skins from different fruits and cactuses and stuff that they use to make other foods that last longer. Like you can use it on 2 or 3 drinks of your own. Like if you get 3 drinks and you only get 1 straw, but then they will break down within a year in a landfill. It's not like, it's not like the original McDonald's straws, which I'm sure are still like choking up the earth. See, I don't fuck with the ice on my teeth because I got sensitive bitch teeth. So I likes me a straw. Look at all these fucking guys over. I don't use a straw. I'm a big, strong man with strong teeth. So, Audi, did you get an owie when you fell? Or are you good? Favorite chair is dead. Well, it's a shame you're still saving them for Joe Fest. You could get a new chair. But, sacrifices we make. I get you. And also, I like straws because I can get them and use them for my dioramas. Selfishly. Alright, now we're going to touch up this roof, even though I'm 90% sure I'm going to cover this part up with a landing pad. And the roof would be a lighter color due to the sun or whatever atmospheric beating down on it, but hey, I have new things you've seen, but I'll be releasing the public soon. Are you talking about, are these the tapes that you were talking about, Josh? The adult videos that you were going to make in AMRAC and put out there for money so that people could watch them? Is that what you're talking about? Tacos. Oh, right. Yep. No, all right. So you're still going to go back and watch the video, but basically, I was talking shit because I was saying how I could put a drainage pipe on the refresher, and I was like, who knows? Maybe it goes to an incinerator, or maybe it goes to like some container that Zilla's crew comes and takes and turns into fuel or food, whatever the fuck he does with that. I don't know. It concerns me that these people just wander around collecting scat. Bunch of duty fetishes. Not for me. Not for me. I want you to number 2 on my... No. The only 2 is the 2 in the number to Uber, so I can get the fuck out of here, buddy. Okay. Right.
I feel exclusively with dino poop.
It's the gamma poop from the dinosaurs that eat the radiated plants from the gamma mining facility. Why do I know so much about Zilla's lore? That is poop lore. Right. But that's what I'm saying, is he might get freaky and come up and collect some scat for some other scatological experiments that they got going on in Amrak. I don't know. I don't know. Like, it concerns me a little bit. It actually scares me and my family. We were gonna have a summer home in Amrak, and we're looking at different school districts because I can't have Quinny going to school with those people. Okay, and we're gonna blast this with heat in a second. Alright. Give Amrakians a gimmick. I know, we're infested. We've been spied upon. We've been hoodwinked. Also, Zilla, I see your #1 fan there was liking my comments on your video and on your post. I'm going to mute you guys 1 second while I heat this up. All right. So, what's all this? Oh, yeah, and what's all this? Nope, I don't want that on. Turn that off. Holy shit, I don't know. What is this? Highlight saved to your channel. Oh, okay, up to the last 5 minutes. I don't want that. Turn that off. Cool, alright. I don't need to know what any of that shit is. Alright, so here's where we've landed now. I like that red, I like the deviation in the color. So now, I want to put in, start on a color in there. What am I going to do for the grate to the... I've got grates here. These came with, I ordered a S-ton of these from Raul, his sets that you can build together. And I've got a bunch of these grates that go to those sets, but you guys know me. I like take stuff apart and put it back together. And I'm just wondering how I can... Maybe I only need one, really, because I need a grate that's going to go down to the lower level. So I'll just use one of these and make a hinge like thing on it to look like it's I'll show you what I mean. Just rotate this. But the idea is that, like right over here, you know, somebody could lift that hinge and go to the apartment below it. It's part of the building. I don't know. I think that's neat. And then I'm going to put a door there. So let me actually grab a door from my door collection. I have a collection of doors. Where did I put that box? Drawers. Where are you, doors? I have like 8 million doors that I bought from Bert, who I may see at Toy Pizza Con tomorrow. But also, I think I found a rooftop generator thing that I might put up here, maybe. So I'm going to do, what color on the floor, guys? Excuse me. Should do like a nice, like black. A lot of rust on that. That would be good. Maybe I'll do like a pale yellow wall there. Let's see. Because like you guys know me. Is there a pass through on the one side of your container? What? Like you can do this. You can open that up to that, but I'm not worried about that right now, so that just stays hidden like a regular. No, there's not, which is why I'm gonna put a fake door there, because again, fucking why not, right? I just imagine that's maybe a single person lives there, or a young guy or a young gal. Haven't decided who lives there yet. I'll put down black on the floor, and then we'll dry brush silver, obviously. And then we'll paint this grate. Ma'am, keep stepping. You got it. You're good. All right, okay. You were fine. You did a good job. You didn't knock a single thing over. I'm proud of you. But, yeah. I want this to be like kind of like the hallway of this particular half unit. And again, that secret hatch there. I remember when we were living in the tenement in Texas, there was a family that that shared basically they happened to get 3 apartments in a row, which was cool for them. I absolutely love that for them. And what they did was the guys basically like cut in a door in between each place, and they just open it up during the day when we knew that there weren't any inspections or anything. And when there were inspections, rather than like go through all this heavy labor work to try and hide what they had done, they would just hang up big Catholic tapestries of the Virgin Mary over the doors that they had put in between the apartments. And inspections either looked the other way or they never knew. But it was just like one big family unit across 3 apartments. 2 or 3 apartments, because there were 2 doors. We were next door. I lived with a family that was in the military in the same unit as my mom's then boyfriend. And him and his kids and wife, we all lived together with my mom and her boyfriend. We all lived in, I got Elspeth in the mail. She was cheap, like $6 on Amazon, so I scooped her because I need witches. But I'm gonna use that as my palette. But anyway, so we lived like right next door. So let me tell you, man, the fucking food that they cooked, whew, and like you guys are getting the whole famine experience here. My mom used to get hit by this guy that she was dating a lot. She stayed with him. She couldn't go anywhere. It was kind of just a fucked up situation to begin with anyway. But whenever that would happen or they would fight or whatnot, the lady next door, she was a sweetheart. She would always invite us boys over, because it was my neighbor and his wife, or rather our friend, the 3 boys and their parents, and then it was my mother and her boyfriend at the time, all living there. So they would invite us over, me and the boys, and the adults would, go their own way or whatever, or be at work and whatnot when my mom was supposed to be watching us. But anyway, she would feed us. Oh, let me tell you, you want some fucking good, real Mexican food? Just absolutely killer food. And she would feed us. She would bring us over, feed us, play the music loud, so we didn't have to hear anything that was going on, or like take us outside and get us set up with a game, and the guys would all be hanging out and drinking, because all the husbands and like sons and stuff, they all worked labor jobs in Texas. They were immigrants. They were here from Mexico. Some of them were not legally there. Some of them were. And they were all really good, hardworking people. But like they would party and enjoy themselves on their time off. And that lady went out of her way to make sure it was safe for us kids when she didn't have to. And so I'm always like a big proponent of community and whatnot. And it was a really cool thing that she did that she didn't have to do, right? It was nice of her to do. She's under no obligation to like take care of her neighbor's kids at all. But she didn't want to see us go hungry. She didn't want to see us have to witness the fighting and the abuse. And so she'd bring us in and feed us dinner. It was really, really great, really great human being. But I had such a weird childhood. But yeah, they would open that thing right up and it would just be like one big house. And, then when they needed to, they'd pop the door, they'd cover it with the giant Virgin Mary tapestries, put a little table on it and table in front of it with like prayer candles, and inspection was none the wiser. And if they knew, they didn't say jack or shit. I wanted to order. There's a Mexican place that you've seen the pictures that I like to eat from. Mexican market, but I just didn't. I got a sandwich instead because work has been nonstop, and it went from it's going to slow down to it's just going to be that way. Today, that was the announcement. It's just going to be that way. So work was pretty nonstop today, and I didn't have time to like put in a thoughtful order of what I wanted. So I was just like, I'll go get a sandwich. Trying to paint where you guys can see, but also where I can see. But it is quite, Mexican market is quite literally like there's a little store inside there where you can go and get like, cookware, bags of rice, things like that. Primarily serve the Hispanic community, but they have a restaurant in the back, and it's called the Mexican Market, and it's this quite literally a tiny hole in the wall. You have to walk down a hallway that's like maybe a little bigger than me, which is kind of embarrassing, but also like, come on, it's tiny. But you walk down the hallway, and then you go and place your order at the counter, and they make some bomb ass Mexican food. Like, it is just so good. It's made with real ingredients. They don't have like, they aren't rolling out nacho cheese sauce. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, Asian markets have dope snacks. I like getting Pocky. I like getting the gummy candies. Aunt knows I'm a big gummy candy enthusiast. Let me tell you what a nice guy that C.H. Anthony is. He sent me a package with some toys in it, and I've showed you guys that, but I also included some Nerds gummies in there, and I got to share those with my grandmother, and she liked those, so that was really cool because I'm a big gummy food fanatic. Which is what a fucking gentleman that guy is. What an absolute sweetheart. If you ever see him, give him a little kiss. Just screaming, "Stop kissing me!" Oh, Famine said to give you a little kiss if he saw you. Bad experiences with various gummies. Lately, I've been super enjoying Sour Boys. They have these things called Lil Guys. Fuck that, I'm an asshole. Oh, right. He's the worst. Just absolutely vile, reprehensible. Just absolutely horrible. But Sour Boys, and they're a company run out of Texas. It's vegan. It's organic. It's not certified organic because they didn't want to pay for the. Basically, when you do something that's certified organic, you pay for the label. But like, they do everything organic. It's not. You're not going to get like red 40 dyes. You're not going to get yellow 73s or any of that shit. You're getting dyes from food. So like, red is made with beet dye, things like that. But anyway, they're really fucking good. So much so that like, when I order it, I make sure I order an extra bag to share so I can have a bag for myself. Like, that sounds a little like greedy, but also it's so good, and I like to have a thing that I can enjoy. But Aunt knows I sent over those Sour Boys, and they were fucking. I thought they were the bomb.com. Great mood booster. And if I'm good about it, I like make sure that I don't eat it all in one sitting. I do stretch it out. Stretch it out in one sitting. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So this is a prime example of why I primed in here. There was a tiny, I actually did prime the inside. Couple good Mexican restaurants, 40-minute drive north. My family was telling me about a Mexican place in Asheville, North Carolina that they liked. And then I ordered from Mexican Market and they were fucking blown away. So, I hear you. There's a lot of good places all over. It's just you got to find the right place, and you want to find, the one that's not using like canned cheese sauce. Like, don't get me wrong, I am not above canned cheese sauce. You go look in my pantry now. I think there's a can of spicy nacho cheese sauce. That does have a place in my diet in life. But when I want authentic Mexican food, I don't want that cheese in a bag shit. Or any of that nonsense. I want like queso fresco. I want cojita on there. You know what I mean? Like, I want real cheese. Oh, and when I say gummies, guys, I mean like gummy bears, gummy candy. I also indulge in gummies of the THC variety. But in this case, what I'm talking about, Sour Boys, is a candy. In case anybody was confused, but I did prime the inside. I was literally just talking to Brett, Aegis Station, about that yesterday. It looks like we're probably gonna go. There is yard sale day in town. It was looking like a complete wash, and then today the weather changed, and tomorrow it actually may not rain. So we would be hitting that first, but there was a plan in place to go down to the 5 Points and Knights of the Slice thing. So you will likely see me there tomorrow if you're going to be there for a good portion of time. You guys should go to 3.75 Dives channel. He has taken some really impressive deep dives into vehicles, into different pieces of world building, his setup that he's building. I love the Pentagon idea. The building the 5 wedges, and the one police plaza that you built is like, I'm really impressed by that. You guys should go check that out. But yeah, I was actually talking to Brett about how I had run into you at the last one. Also, Sunday is Albany Comic-Con at the Polish Community Center in Albany. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it to that. I will probably stop in the morning. I like to give them the $10 for the admission. I'll probably walk around once, say hello to a couple of people. Thank you, Bjorn, for linking his channel in the chat. And see what kind of toy deals there are, but then dip out. But yeah, a lot going on toy-wise, but it looks like I will be passing through tomorrow at some point to that event. I think last year, I'm trying not to spend what I spent last year. I'm trying to be good, but I also would like to pick up a couple of odds and ends here. I do have bills. I have shit that I gotta do. It's life. Let's see. So we got. Whoop. So I've got the black down. That's just gonna be the floor. Like I said, I'm gonna weather that. Some black on that end. Now. Enjoy tomorrow. Hopefully the rain holds off. Fortunately, I'm not going to make it. Committed to an event in Mountain House. Gotcha. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, these they're fun, and I'm having a good time painting them. So I'm also going to real quick, I'm going to get some black paint on this MDF. I can't remember if I've already sealed these, so if it absorbs right into it, I'll just have to put a second coat of paint on it and kick myself for not having sealed them. But again, these were from our friend Diorama Accessories, Raul. He's got his Instagram. He's got an eBay store through his Instagram. You can contact him about getting some of his kits. They are laser cut, and I really recommend them. I get a lot of utility and versatility out of them, and yeah, these I ordered these. I ordered a huge amount from him, and he sent me a big old stack. And yeah, I'm not getting paid to say it or anything, but you know, neat little detailed hex details on there. When the paint dries and you dry brush it, there's actually a groove that runs around. There's little rivet holes so that it looks like it's bolted down. And I think that's very cool. So I got that. More black paint in there. Into a couple of these recesses here. Get all up in there. So I want to put something in there. I have stickers, I have paper. I don't know what I want to put there yet. I could put a curtain. I could put a bubble. That's a thought too, is I could do a half sphere. I think I have a couple of Christmas ornaments, plastic Christmas ornaments. But I'm going to get a water real quick, so give me 2 seconds and I shall return. Bjorn, entertain the people. Do a song and dance, quick. It's hot in here. Now I was going to Bjorn do a song and dance. Nope, no song and dance. Jesus. All right. So we've got that going. Gonna let that dry the old-fashioned way inside of there. Let's start working on weathering. So I've got this black on here already. Take most of it off on a cloth. Still on there. There we go. Get a little, just picking a couple areas. Putting some dry brush / leftover paint just in the recesses in certain areas. I have not watched it yet. That's once this stream is over and I'm settled, I'm gonna throw it on the TV. I don't want any spoilers. If anybody spoils in the chat, I will find you personally and I will chew your leg off. And then when I'm done, Ant will come and chew your other leg off, I think. Okay, and we want a lot of grime around the door. Just gotta think like that's where, even though I'm gonna put like banister and a little thing here for people to stand on. Like, see, all I did was just take this very, very paint removed brush, and I've just gone in here, and any little bits of paint that are on there, it's just kind of into the recesses. I'll go around, I'll do it. I'm not building up, I'm not putting any more paint on here. It's just gonna be what's on here. Adds to the detail, adds to the grime. Because that's how I want it. See, now Makes it look just a little more world worn. It looks like, you know, if this was hauled on the back of a truck or through Atmo or whatever, it might have gotten hot and got a little, basically soot built up on it. And as I said, I'm not putting any more paint on there. Oh, that's dope, dude. I miss the days when I could like watch things while I was working, but my job has become a joyless endeavor. So I might get to throw a YouTube video on my phone from time to time, but that's what it is, though. That's sometimes life isn't that, but rest assured, it pays the bills and it allows me to do things like this, where I pick free shit up off the road and then I stream and do this. And every once in a while, somebody throws me a super chat, or they say something nice about me, or they join Patreon. You know, it's fun. Or I get, you know, good tips from you guys. I get to hang out, and normally I would be talking to the cats. So, you have a big secret at work? Big screen at work. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got a big TV in here, and I just got that new TV for the living room. I've been pretty goddamn excited about. I've used it to watch a couple of things out there, and it's nice to have a larger TV and be able to sit in my living room and watch television, not just be in here watching TV. Again, boom. It adds depth and texture. All it is like a really dry brush with very little pigment left in it from the black, but it's just enough to like leave that standing on there, creating shadows in the recesses, making it look older. Cool. So I've gotta get like some sort of stencil on here, just for the sake of like, oh, it looks like a, you know what I mean? Ooh, I don't even need to do a stencil. I know what I can use. Yeah. Where are mine scissors? Where est mine scissors? Who has them? And where are they? Do a blue sun. It's not going to be a stencil, but it'll be a decal, as the Canadians say. Put that like right there. All right, cool. So that'll go on there. I'm gonna do that right now. Get my glue brush. Glue brush! Oop, it's back. What's back? You lost the feed? Well, what did you do? Why'd you lose the feed? What did you touch? What's up, Abby? Saturate the, now how, hang on a second, I'm gonna pull a Jason Jensen here. Yeah, I'm gonna pull a Jason Jensen. Grab this sandpaper. Nope, that's too thin, or too fine a sandpaper. So, I learned this from watching Jason Jensen's model railroad feeds for like old painted on logos or like paste ups or things like that for decals and stuff. He recommends sanding through with sandpaper until the paper is almost sheer, till it's almost see-through, and maybe you get like one tiny little tear or something like that, and then apply it. Because the paper, number one, is much thinner. It'll go on with less issue of rigidity and trying to struggle on its own to stand up. Number two, it then makes it look like it was painted on or applied on in such a way that it's weathered and older. And I'm absolutely groovy with that idea. I love it. So it just thins that out a little bit. It's still a little too thick, so I'm gonna do it again. Cool. That does feel much thinner. Again, this is laser jet printed. If it's inkjet, the ink's gonna run. Laser jet. It's just regular matte Mod Podge here. And the back is gonna get loaded up with it. All the way to the edges. This just softens right up. Almost like a water slide decal, but without the fuckery. And I'm not saying this is how you should do every sign or whatever. This is just how I want this one to go on. And it's something that I learned from somebody in our channel. So, in our community, I should say. So yeah. We'll just go, boom. Start it there, press that down, press it into the bars between. And once that dries up a little, I almost fucked up the whole operation, guys. We almost had to cancel the entire show. Kidding. Once this dries up a little bit, I'll be able to go over it again with some Mod Podge on the outside and then weather it, and it will, boom, Blue Sun shipping container. Something easy, nothing too complicated. And I've just pressed all the air bubbles out of it as best I can, using my back of my nail to press in all the recesses and creases. Smooth it out on those, but boom, there we go. Science fiction. There you have it, kids. So let's do for the window frames. I suppose we could paint those. Let's paint them white. And I say that not understanding the full consequences of this action. But we gonna find out together. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Oh, that's not the one I want. That's, yeah, that'll work. Thought about doing them black. I think white's gonna be the better option as far as just like making it stand out. And then when I add all the weathering and stuff, it's gonna of course take it down a little bit. Ugh. Okay, and I'm using matte white from War Painter Army Paints. And again, that's how high pigmented this paint is. If I were to do this with white from Apple Barrel, this would show up as pink. It would not, the white would not, it would take 3 or 4 coats at least to get a solid white color on there. So, certain things I just have better luck with the model paints. Other things for larger coverage and stuff, it does make sense to use the Apple Barrel stuff. I wish it had a little more pigment to it. Or if they put out like a comparable heavy body line of Apple Barrel stuff, I'd be all about that life. Blue Sun Massive. Firefly, friend. Firefly. Blue Sun is the biggest corporation that came out of China from Earth that was when they left. And actually, if you watch the pilot episode, there is a Blue Sun, there's a couple of Blue Sun shipping containers in the background. But y'all know me, I loves me my references. References, Easter eggs, direct call-outs, callbacks. Blue Suns. Get. Oh, baby. Maybe. Hell yeah. Yep, definitely think that white was the way to go. And I also think because it's going to pick up weathering really nicely. Oopsie boopsie.
Old Famine made a mistake.
Sounds couldn't word it correctly. Were you trying to say it in Mandarin? I mean, that just confirmed I can't paint with my left hand, but an effort was made. It's okay, I'll touch it up later. I feel like this brush is not the best brush for this task, but because I'm stubborn, well, let's try something. Let's try not being stubborn for a change, old Famine, old boy. Utilize the tools that you have at your disposal. What is it with this rogue hair on this brush? Hey, gone. You can't see it, but I'm basically using a fine-tipped brush to get into the areas above the window frame. Just so that I can be satisfied when I start to put the paint on here. Because I made a little mistake over there, so this is me trying to learn from that mistake. Or at least not make the same mistake twice in the same project, which is 50-50 for me. A little bit of overlay, but it's okay. Does that, what? Yes, kind of. You can. touch that up. Oh, not everything can be perfect when I do it, but perfect is dumb. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be finished. And they do come apart. You can unscrew them to get them apart and have separate containers. It does take a little bit of work, but if I can do it, anybody surely can figure it out, as long as they have a screwdriver and are comfortable with gratuitous swearing, because it took some swearing. Every time I thought I had the last screw out when I was doing the project, I'm like, well, where the hell is this one now? What's holding this up? How do I, what's going on here? What am I finding? Why is this like this? Yep. It absolutely does rotate. Ah, you son of a squirrel. Anybody in the chat, do you guys watch Resident Alien at all? It's got Alan Tudyk as a alien who lives on Earth, and he pretends to be a doctor. And it looks very funny. And it is on one of the streaming platforms that I have access to, so I'm curious. Okay, so people like Resident Alien. Anytime I say son of a bitch, because of all the commercials I've seen, I feel like I'm saying it like Alan Tudyk does. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Bullshit. It's a dartboard for the dolls. And then it closes and hides away. It is a spinning thing, I guess, like that. Apparently these dolls are very much into darts. I'm glad that it's getting rave reviews from you guys. I'll have to give it a check out. As I said, you know, Alan Tudyk, very funny guy, and I like his work, so I don't see why I wouldn't like it. But I thought I'd ask the community first. Okay. this is going to be a pain in the tuchus. Ooh, I cannot. I could just not paint that. I'm going to do it anyway. But I could skip it. Painting the sill around the circular window down here in the end. And again, I don't have to. This is my own doing, my own choice. You have done that yourself, Anakin. My allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy. Ouch. Just painting the inside of that. And like I said, I don't plan on having full price in the King's Source. Yeah, like I said earlier in the chat, I had picked up a complete set for $20 at a flea market in Johnstown, New York. But like I had already found one free by that point, so I was like, okay, well I've got two. And then I was driving out in the try and beat the rainstorm yesterday and pick up a couple of things from the store. Namely the T-Rex from Jurassic World Rebirth that just came out from Walmart, the exclusive. And on my way there was a pile of looked like maybe leftover yard sale stuff or whatever. And lo and behold, it was there for free. And I said, okay, that's mine now. All right. What's up, Jabalon? Let's let that rinse itself off. We're going to do a little bit of dry brushing now with some silver or some gunmetal, I don't care which one, for this grate that we're going to make here, and also the floor on the inside of the yes, I'm going to get some red and touch that up because that looks like hot shit. Trust me, I know. You did a bad job, Famine, and you should feel bad. I don't. Even if I did, I don't. How about that? I think I'm just gonna focus on the interior dry brushing here. I love some good trim. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, ladies. Show until 4 a.m. Pulling double and I stay maximum aeration inside of Metamucil container. 4. Okay. Now we've got a weathered up grill. Put right there. I think I will put some yellow on there though. I feel like that does need to have some cautionary looking tape there. Or not tape, but like design. And then just do a little silver gunmetal here. Dry brushing the footpath, like especially in front of the door. And I'll show you what this looks like. Just little, you can see, you know, somewhere people come up over there, maybe stop and look out the window or go down the thing. Now I'll do a little bit of weathering with the gunmetal since we've got it out. Just kiss the edge of that. That edge too. It's like now I'm starting to think of, okay, well, where does this track work? You know, if they have to move it, where is the area that would be most chipped up and foot traffic through? And then these will also help when I do, you know, when I do a little bit of weathering later. Like rust and stuff, these spots will pick up that rust, especially against the red. And we know stuff was stacked on top of these because we've seen it. We know how these work, so we'll just really hit those corners, make them look rough. Skips on there, some of these. A couple of areas there. And even though there's so many recesses on this, I'm just kind of focusing the heavy stuff on the corners where like bang, or be slotted into something else to transport, because that's the places that these things are going to get knocked around and worn out. Who doesn't like to be knocked around and worn out? You know what I'm saying? Weather it up. There's a couple of odd locations where there's some weathering, some scratches and whatnot. On this end here, again, hit those corners, especially those feet, because we know those feet that are on there, they would be planted into another recess. Okay, top. Corners. Awesome. Okay, so that worked out well. Let me fix my my red mistake with these trim pieces here, or else it will keep me up at night. Probably won't, but I like to make things sound a little more dramatic than they are usually. It's fun that way and engaging. Keeps my engagement up. And if you just hit the chat and you haven't already, if you could smack the like button, subscribe if you're not already. If you really wanted to, really wanted to do a huge favor, you hit that that share button and copy the link. Don't even need to do anything with it. It just convinces Steve YouTube that, like, hey, this famine guy is stream. People watching his stream think that maybe, other people would want to watch this. So let's push this in the algorithm and let other people watch it. And I'm like, no way. Thanks, Steve YouTube algorithm. And if you're into supporting the arts, supporting channels like this, patreon.com/FamineStudiosX. There is a free tier there as well. So if you're, I get it. It's hard out here for a pimp. But if you're not in a place to help out, or you don't want to help out financially, but you still want to keep up to date with some of the stuff there is that option. But it's pretty primarily a good way to help support the channel. Also, the super chats, they go pretty far in helping the channel out. So I appreciate you guys. All right, there we go. I bought shirts. You did buy shirts, baby. Did they ship yet? Son of a bitch. I called them and I told them, I said, you fucking get these things out the door to my friends right meow. And they were like, this is the operator's number. Why are you yelling at us? And I was like, don't pretend coy. Don't act like you don't know what you're doing. Now get them out there. You get them in the hands of my adoring public. That's you guys. You're my adoring public, by the way. I think I'm gonna make an executive decision here. Ooh, fancy fabric. Get it. You're gonna feel so fancy in your Famine Studios Rusty Jackalope wares available on TeePublic. In case anybody was like, ooh, where do I get one of them fancy shirts that he's not wearing right now? Is he too good to wear his own merchandise? To that I say, no, I am not. It just happens to be in the laundry. And also it kind of does feel like I'm that guy wearing the band shirt to the concert, so. Which I've absolutely done before. but it was more of like a, hey, I've had this band shirt that's ancient from when you guys were just starting out, and not a, oh, I'm going to see Bruce Springsteen, I better wear my Bruce Springsteen shirt. All right. Cool. There is the sand yellow. There we go. Or do I try? Nope, we're gonna use the sand yellow. We're dumb, but we're not stupid. This may actually be empty, Famine. Nope. She's a squirter. I'm kidding. Whose Tool? I wear my Tool shirt when I see Tool. Bread is buttered. A friend of mine goes and sees Tool every time they're through here. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Why I'm doing the old ramble. Other than, again, it's raining and humid, and the cats don't really talk back. Quinny will. He won't shut up. I love him, but he talks a lot. Like, I'm sure karmatically, because I didn't have children intentionally and I shut down my baby making factory, this is like somehow the universe letting me know that I also talked a lot when I was a kid. So, but he's just a boy. He's just a baby. Middle-aged nerd session. Somebody was talking about parallel play and like the sense of like hobbies and stuff, where you just go over to somebody's house and kind of exist there with them while they do their thing and you do your thing. I'm like, it's kind of what we do on the with the live streams, you know? We just kind of get together and everybody hangs out and does their own bullshit and we chat and Seether. Who was my last concert? Oh, Ninja Sex Party. And Twerp. Before that was Electric Callboy on my birthday last year. Yeah. That was a hell of a fun show. Tonight's seltzer is very humidly dripping water everywhere, but it's a blackberry mango for those keeping score. Let that dry. Hit that with some silver weathering. Yeah, when was that? Back in 2001? Yeah. Yes, I do. I've gotten a few of the different franchise ones as well. So like the Lord of the Rings, I've grabbed a couple of those that I actually have used for different things in Gimmick. Last thing I went to was Decadence. Cool. Super glue it in there. All right. Thinking this is where I'm going to leave off for the evening. Let this really dry. Again, with the humidity, I'm not going to fool around. It's mostly DJs who really believe in themselves. He's there for the butt stuff. All right, cats and kittens. Like I said, I'm gonna call this right now as where I'm leaving this off for the day. That right there. Is that a thumbnail? But we're making progress on it. I'm pretty happy with how it is. And if at all, if I do anything on this, I'll probably paint this some color and get that situated, but we're gonna keep working on that. This was a nice easy stream, very relaxing. Thank you guys, I had a lot of fun. Now I'm gonna go drink my cold beverage. Abby, Ant, Bjorn, Task Force 375, Red, everybody else is here. Thank you so much for watching. Again, like, subscribe, Patreon, all the links are in the description. Follow my friends, be good, too sweet me. See, I pressed the N button.